recording. Can you say something so I can make sure the sound is okay?
Hi, it's Alison. I'm having a big sip of coffee.
So welcome everyone, this is episode number 4. I'm here with Ali and we're going to be talking about spirituality today, and actually we'll get to know Ali a little bit better. I was actually having a brief conversation with her before this filming, and I'm actually really excited for what's about to come.
I hope it's the same.
I'm sure it will be. So Ali, we've known you through your website bigcomplete.com, but how it would be interesting to find out how you actually got yourself into the spiritual world and actually getting to know more about yourself and of course self-awareness.
Yeah, it's funny because I think we're all on this journey from birth, whether we are aware of it or not. So I think maybe unconsciously I've always been a spiritual soul seeker since I've been very young. So I have always spoken to my angels. I have always had angel cards. I've always been big into astrology, but I've always been into meditation and just seeking out that aspect of myself. And for years I had great meditation teachers, but it's not something I ever spoke openly about, because back 20 years ago, like saying that you were into angel cards or that you were into going to healers was not really the coolest thing in the world to do. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't really around very many people who were into the same things. So as I travelled around the world, I lived in London and I lived in New York, and I used to travel to wonderful places like Bali. And I remember going to do shoots in places like Bali, and I really just understood spirituality. It was like another level. Yeah. Some of the places I travelled to, it was like, it just opened me up. It's like kind of a flower. It just opens you up a little bit more and makes you curious. But one of the things I've always been fascinated with is our mind. So I was always drawn towards Buddhism really strongly, because Buddhism is about understanding our mind. It's understanding that we're not our mind, you know, we're not our thoughts. So I had a wonderful teacher in New York called Kadam Morton, and he's Kadampa Buddhism, and I used to go to his classes every week, and it would be for about an hour and a half, once or twice a week, and I used to go on retreats and everything with him upstate in New York. And he had this incredible way of speaking to New Yorkers, and I just think anyone that can speak to New Yorkers is a very special person. And you used to leave every week making sense of the chaotic life that was New York. Yeah. So every week I used to leave just with this incredible feeling, but then I used to lose it. So it's like getting this connection and losing it and getting this connection. So I never really understood that that's what was going on. And then when I came home here to Ireland, there's a very special place called Dockshinbera in West Cork. And Sagyong Rinpoche is the spiritual director there, and he's had a huge influence on my life the past few years. Right. I've done an awful lot of my healing there, and I wrote part of my book there. It's a very, very special place to me. They're actually building Ireland's first temple there, and it's on this sacred land, and it's somewhere that's open to everybody. It's not just for people who are Buddhists. I don't really call myself a Buddhist, you know what I mean? So it's open to everybody, and as soon as you step onto that land, anyone that I know who's been there says there's something very special about this place. It's the energy of where it is. We have to visit. Ireland is one of the most spiritual countries in the world. I mean, like our ancient traditions of the Celts and everything, we are deeply spiritual, and sometimes I think we just forget where we came from. So
you wouldn't imagine that if you met like your average Irish person.
No, not at all. But I think the one thing when we talk about spirituality, I always say, for years of struggling with depression and anxiety and addiction problems, I was spiritually dead in a lot of ways. Even though I was going and doing my meditation, you know, that aspect of myself wasn't being nurtured. And I always say to people, mind, body, spirit. And spirit is equally as important as mind and body. And a lot of us have no faith anymore. You know, we're completely disconnected from ourselves, and we're not feeding that spiritual aspect of ourselves in any way whatsoever. And, you know, whether you're an atheist or whether you're religious or whatever you believe in, like, feeding that aspect of yourself can be as simple as reconnecting with nature. So I wear different bracelets every day, depending on...
I've seen that on your Insta stories.
Yeah, depending on what I feel like. And my son he's, you know, 6, he's big into crystals as well and what they mean. And really interestingly, just the other day in the shop, you will always pick what you need. So it's about not trying to control it and not thinking about it. So James went in and he picked up you know, a rose quartz, which is the heart, which is healing the heart. So he always goes and picks things up, or he'll go into my office and pick up crystals. And I know the meaning of the crystals, and I'm always like, isn't that fascinating? That I know he's picking that up for a reason, or if he's having problems sleeping. So I went in the other day and I picked up this one, which was really interesting because I felt like I had no idea what this meant. And this is something I haven't come across before. And I felt like I wasn't grounded. And I also felt like there was an aspect of myself that I was working an awful lot. It's work or James, work and James.
Yeah.
And it's been mentioned many times that I need to have more joy in my life.
Yeah.
I need to have more fun. So this is Mookaite. And the meaning behind it is being grounded. It's to earth, but it also represents all chakras.
Oh,
and
I
it's
need
about,
that.
and it's about bringing more joy into your life. And when I got home and I did the research, I was like, isn't that funny that I picked that up exactly when I needed
That's
it?
exactly what you need.
So when I wake up in the morning, I see whatever my energy is drawn to, I pick up. And I'm a big believer in, you know, crystals and their energy and their healing. And I've always had crystals everywhere. If you come into my house, there's crystals everywhere, there's incense everywhere. There's
I think the injuries have been made in your house.
Yeah. So,
next time, the next one. So, okay, well, of course we're talking about spirituality and healing and crystals, but your previous life, you were known as a model.
Yeah.
You've traveled the world as a model, you've worked in Greece, as we were talking before, as a model. So how did the transition come about from being a model to the spiritual world?
I think I've always, through my journey as a model, there's always been that big question hanging over your head when you're in an industry where the time is limited. So from the day you start modeling, people are like, what are you going to do when you finish modeling? You know, this is a short-lived career. You know, this career is over in a few years. And it's like, oh my God, everybody stop saying that to me. So for years, I was always like, who am I? Where am I going? What do I want to do? And that's the question we all have, right? Who am I? You know, what do I really like? What
you don't have to be a model to have that question.
What's my purpose? You know, like what am I here for? What makes me tick? You know, and so many of us fall into the trap of just doing something because we feel we have to, or because we're not sure where we're going. And about 7 years ago, I broke up with my boyfriend and came home to Ireland, and I was already in this transitory phase. I was living in between San Fran and New York, and I was up and I was meditating every morning, and I was doing my yoga, and there was all of this stuff happening, you know, swirling and shifting inside of me, and I knew that there was change happening. But when I came home, I discovered I was expecting, and I was pregnant, and I ended up staying in Ireland, and I've been raising my son here as a single mother, and that was a time of really rebirth and renewal for me, and it's been a journey for the past 7 years of very much up and down. Like, I suppose personally I feel it has gradually all been going up, but as that has been gradually going up in the right direction, you hit lows and you come back up and you hit lows, and they're all learning curves, because that's just life, you know. So it's just been this steady incline with lots of learning on the way and lots of dips, and I really feel like I've just been finding out who I am and having so much fun. So I never really valued wellness. I never really valued kind of lifestyle. I never really understood it. And when I started to dig deeper, I had postnatal depression, and I've always suffered from depression and anxiety my whole life. I was like, do you know what? This is not about me anymore. It's about my son. So I need to figure out me to be the best mom I can be. So, you know, we never, as mothers, we never practice self-care because we're always putting everybody else before us, and really as human beings most of us are doing that. Self-care is you know, something that's not popular in the Western world. So on this journey of wanting to be the best mother for my son, I had a kind of awakening that I actually needed to do it for me first, and that was a big shift for me, because it was that whole idea of you can't give to anyone else unless you give to yourself first. And this was also one of the first times in my life that I had been single. You know, so single and on my own, I had to be alone with myself. And I would have done anything my entire life rather than be alone with myself. And always kind of made sure I kept myself busy, whether that was with partying and I had bad addiction problems, or, you know, just generally keeping myself busy. So I started to spend time with myself. I started to go inwards, because I always say to people, we have to live from the inside out. We just have to. And all my spiritual teachers for years kept saying it to me, but fell on deaf ears. I was like, I don't really understand what they mean. That frustration of what do they mean inside out? I don't understand it. And I spent my entire life working from the outside in. So getting the next job, getting the next boyfriend, living in my dream place. And when I get all of those things,
you'll be happy.
Then I will be happy. So it was, my happiness was always conditional, and it was always placed in the future. So during...
That's so true.
Oh, for everybody. And
That's
it's how
so
we're taught in school, you know, and it's like our value comes from the outside world, what people think of us and, you know, what we've achieved, you know, and that's what our worth is. That's where our self-esteem comes from. So my biggest learning for the last 6 years, I've kept a gratitude diary for 6 years, every single morning. And
I barely keep a diary, you know, for my everyday life.
I have piles of them, and I would never go a day without practicing gratitude, and I do it with James as well, because practicing gratitude helps you to see what you do have, what you have right now, and that's saying you will never be happy with what you want unless you're happy with what you have. You can have hopes and dreams for the future, and of course that's what we're all working towards. But believing that that's what's going to make you happy, because then you get there and you have this moment of elation going, yay, I've arrived, and then you go, so what's next?
So what?
Yeah, and what's next? So we all are, I'm still on that road of learning that, to really start enjoying the journey and enjoying like even the downtimes and those learning curves, and really kind of sitting into that. So meditation is a huge part of my life every day. Huge. Like it's given me the gift of sobriety.
I know.
It's given me the gift of sanity.
I have to practice that as well. We were talking about that all we were thinking is like how we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
But now it's all about being complete.
Yeah.
And your website, Be Complete. What does that actually mean to you?
So I think everybody needs to be treated as an individual, and I always say to people, you know yourself the best. So being complete for me means being the most complete version of you. And that's different from other people. For years, being in modelling, you know, I fell into the comparison trap. You can't not fall into the comparison trap as a model. As a human being, you can't, you know. Because,
and especially as a model.
Yeah, like social media, everything, we're all pitted against each other, and you can't help, like, if anybody says to you, you know, oh, I've never had a jealous emotion, I've never felt envious, oh, but then you're not human, you know. So, like, you see these girls in castings and you look around and, you know, there can be healthy jealousy too, and you're like, she's so beautiful. Like, you're kind of looking at some of these girls going, wow. And then you're kind of thinking, what am I doing here? What am I doing in this casting? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you feel totally out of place. And I never really felt like I integrated with myself during all those years as a model. I did always feel a little out of place, a little out of depth. I always worked. I had a very successful career, but there was something missing. And I tried to fill that with external things and with addictions and with medication. And so for me, Be Complete, when I was trying to come up with something for my website, was about being the most complete version of you. And I keep trying to say to people, you know, when we compare, we will never be happy. So it's about finding like what makes you happy, what fulfills you. And everybody's always like, oh, you seem to have it all figured out, and I have no idea what my purpose is. And it's like, I had no idea what my purpose was till a couple of years ago. In fact, I'm still growing and I'm still finding out.
Exactly.
I always say
that's the good part.
That's the exciting part of life, though. Like everybody says to me now, you're so easily pleased. I'm like, I actually am. Like the simplest, tiniest things make me so excited. Like it's kind of like childlike excitement. But I never had that before either. And I always say to people I'm working with that I'm coaching, I was given a box of 100 keys. And I was told, you know, one of those keys will unlock, you know, your key to health and happiness. And I probably had to go through 95 of them to find something that worked. And people give up after a couple of times, and you can never give up. You have to keep going. You have to get up every day and you have to keep going. And that's the thing, you know, you have to constantly, you have to show up for you every day.
No, you're absolutely
You have to. There's no other way to live, you know.
That's absolutely true. And like talking about being complete and about now, but what about the future? How do you see yourself in the future? And how do you see yourself helping others in the future?
So coaching, I'm an NLP practitioner and a health and wellness coach. So I coach people one-on-one, and also I'm going to be doing my shows called The Full 360, which will bring people for a full day of health and wellness and fun. And I'll be covering, it'll be something very different to what's out there. I'll be covering everything to do with health and wellness, so natural skincare, toxic load, what you're using in your home. Because I believe we have to look at everything, you know, our lifestyle, our environment, quality of our relationships. I'll be covering mindfulness, we'll be having discos, there'll be gratitude, but it's going to be a day where you come, I'll be on stage, I'll be doing the difference between juicing and blending. So I want to bring people to have a full day experience and show them simple tools that they can bring into their daily life, because people think this is all very difficult. And change can be hard. But it's about doing small, consistent things every day.
You're absolutely right.
That'll work. And people sometimes, and I did it, because I always speak from experience, I have had a history of making things very difficult. And I've had a history of doing things and going down the hard road. And what I've realised now is that and I laugh because I'm just like, when I think of all the stuff I've done, when we simplify our life.
Exactly.
It starts to work.
That's what I ask myself, what it would look like if it was simple.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, I can do it now.
You know, can breathing really help? Yeah. If you have anxiety, use your breath. It's free. It's available to us all. We have it there whenever we need it. Most of us don't breathe properly. We don't take that chance and that moment for ourselves.
I think we have to finish that interview by breathing.
Absolutely, and thank you so much
for
having me today, Kassi.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Such a pleasure to talk. Thanks, Mindy.
Thank you.